Shalom, giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachah Kadash, for giving me the spirit and power to make this lesson. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that teach this truth and real well. Wabarakatham unto the elect. This is your brother Gabar from the Great Millstone Dallas branch, and it's going to be another lesson and going into how the Lord has everything set in his own time, all right, including the downfall of Esau, Edom, okay? And give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I get this sage backlit. All right, Salakia, trying to burn incense, man. But yeah, I want to get into that because Yahweh, Ba'ashem Al-Shai, can act at any time, but he's going to act according to what he said, okay, according to prophecy, all right? Hence to Yahweh Shai, all right, the spirit of Yahweh Shai being the spirit of prophecy. If you know Yahweh Shai truly, then you're going to know prophecy. And that's all he did when he came on the scene. He prophesied, okay? Now, going into this right quick, I want to start off with Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12. And I want to give verse... let me see right quick. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, and verse... We'll start at 17. It says, "For when men will not believe that thou art full of power, Slakia, art of a full power, thou shewest thy strength, and among them that know it, thou makest their boldness manifest." All right. When the Lord acts, the righteous are going to be obviously rejoicing, okay? Especially the prophets, okay, which prophesied in his name what would happen, what he would do, okay? But the point is that Yahweh, Ba'ashem Al-Shai, is a power that is full of power, okay? He doesn't rest, he doesn't sleep, he doesn't need to, okay? He is the true power, okay? Reading down, verse 18, "But thou, mastering thy power, judgest with equity, and orderest us with great favor." And this is speaking about towards his chosen. It says, "For thou mayest use power when thou wilt." Right, and that's the point of this lesson. The Lord can use power when he wants, okay? And he's going to use it, and he's going to display that power yet again in this Egypt, just as he did in last Egypt. Let me grab a quick precept, because we know about the 10 plagues. We know how the Lord used his men, all right, to bring those plagues, all right? But it's a specific statement, all right, written, where is it? Exodus chapter 7 and verse 1. It says, "And the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses, See, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet." So the Lord raised up his men in that time on the level of gods, okay? You think the Lord isn't going to do that again in this Egypt? Yeah, he's going to do that again, okay? He's definitely going to do that again, and he has the power to do it, okay? His will prevails over any other will, okay? Yahweh is the supreme power, and he's about to show that power in taking down Esau, Edom, man, all right? Now, jumping from there, we can jump to... Matter of fact, I want to get that in the GNT. That's what I want to do. Wisdom of Solomon 12 and 18 in the GNT. It says, "Even though you have absolute power," all right, you got to understand this, absolute power, omnipotent, okay? It says, "Even though you have absolute power, you are a merciful judge," okay? That's towards us. It says, "You could take action against us whenever you like, but instead you rule us with great patience," okay? How the Lord is very long-suffering. All right, now, on the flip side, the Lord is being patient, all right, with Esau, all right, and taking him down in his exact time and in his exact manner, all right, which is according to prophecy, because things have to be fulfilled. The MOTB, he wants that fulfilled, okay? The planet, everybody that's not of the elect taking that, that has to be fulfilled. Jacob's trouble, time never foreseen, that has to come upon earth. That has to be fulfilled. All right, WW3. There are certain prophecies that has to be fulfilled. Then the Lord is going to take down this man of sin. Okay? And understanding that, it gives you more comfort, and it gives you more patience, understanding how these things are going to work. They're not, because you could come into this truth and you want the Lord to do certain things in your time, which we all want to be delivered already. We all want the kingdom already. All right, but it's set up in the Lord's time. Okay, you think the prophets didn't want the kingdom back then? I'm really holding that. And I'll probably go ahead and get it. Okay, but they wanted it back then, but it wasn't time yet. Acts 1:6, it says, when they therefore were to come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? You see, the mindset was rulership. Okay, not, well, Lord, we can just have something under the Romans. No, man, they wanted rulership. They wanted the kingdom, which is righteous. They want righteousness set up. Okay, they want the Lord to rule. And this is what Yahushua responded to his men, his disciples. Verse 7. It says, and he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power. Right. And nobody know anyway but Yahweh. Okay, he's the only one that knows. Salakia. All right, Salakia, let me grab that right quick. Matthew 24:36. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. So Yahweh has reserved that mystery, that secret for himself. Okay. And it makes sense, because if everybody just knew, then everybody would be just fake repenting in the last time, in the last day, But, all right, the elect, all right, knowing that they're near that time, all right, according to prophecy, all right, and according to their faith, okay, then they're making themselves ready, knowing that they're in that time. And that's going to be the only ones that are ready. All right, and that's what the Lord wants. He don't want everybody anyway. He don't want everybody. The Lord only wants his elect. Okay. Now, let's go to Romans chapter 9 and verse 22. It says, what of Yahweh, willing to shew his wrath, right, to destroy the wicked, as the scriptures say, all right, that he's going to destroy them. What of Yahweh, willing to shew his wrath and to make his power known, endure with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. Right. So that's what the Lord is doing. He's waiting patiently. All right. He has all these things working in his own time, as we see in the earth now, that time is very near, because the prophecies of what to look for before that time comes are on the earth. And we only got a couple more. Like I said, we got that MOTB. That's one of the main things right there. When that thing is pushed forth to mandatory, or else you'll be, excommunicated, if that's a word I'm trying to say. Excommunicated from society. You'll be put to death. Okay. Hey, man, that's going to try everybody's faith. But that's a major prophecy that has to happen. All right, so that everybody can take that thing and receive that grievous sore after taking it, and then receive the punishment for taking it, written in Revelation 14. Okay, the Lord isn't just, you don't just wake up in the truth and then he just, just comes back that day. Okay, that's not how it's working. All right. Next verse. And that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which is us. Okay. And that's beginning with receiving this truth. Okay. All the way up into actually being physically there with Yahweh Shai in that chariot, in the kingdom. Okay. Ruling the planet Earth. Okay. In glory. Okay. It says, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto glory. Right. Okay. So the elect are prepared for this already. Okay. And Esau's the one fitted to destruction. All right. Esau's the one that's gonna be taken out the way. That's why it says in that Romans that why hast thou made me thus? Well, if I'm made to be wicked and everything, then why am I just so wicked? And you're just gonna punish me. Well, you're just the vessel of the Most High, and He created you to be so. And you didn't have that mentality when you was, on top. Which Babylon is still, powerful. Don't get it twisted. But in the prime, hey man, in your prime, you didn't cease to not spoil Jake. You enjoyed getting all those riches by theft and graping. So you gotta be held accountable for your actions. Two birds, one stone. Okay, the ones that punished the Israelites, the Lord used them to punish them, but now you're gonna be punished. The whipping stick is gonna be whooped. Okay, which the whipping stick took it too far anyway, as the scriptures say. This dude got biological warfare. All right, mental warfare. Okay, physical warfare. All these things against Jake, and he just think he just good. All his wickedness is just wiped clean. No. Yahweh Shah only came from the nation of Israel. All right. That Jesus bullshit, that he died for everybody, that's all a myth. That's all bullshit. You go read the scriptures. It tells you that he died for his people. Go read Matthew. All right. Anyway, going back to the point, though, I want to grab this. Luke 21:25. It says, "And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken." Right. All right. So there's a lot more coming upon the planet Earth, and the ones that are in power now, they're in fear. All right. As first and foremost, we receive this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, standing up on our feet. All right. Revelation 11:11, Revelation 12:12. Okay, fear is on them, knowing that Yahweh Bashim Shai is remembering their iniquity, as we prophesy and we tell them that. Okay, that they have to be accountable for what they've done in the earth all this time, and that's not something they want to hear because they've been doing wickedness. Which makes sense. All right, but they still got to be held accountable. They still got to go through judgment. All right. As a matter of fact, quick precept. Now jump back to that Luke. So the Lord is just waiting. He just got them on reserve. Okay? Matter of fact, grab two of these. Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 26. "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked." Right. So you're going to be stripped. Okay. You're going to be brought low. You're going to be humbled. Okay. That cup is, matter of fact, let's see if it says anything on the Blue Letter Bible on that word cup. But that's symbolic for you getting judged. Okay. Lamentations 4:21. Okay. Not really anything on that word, so we're just going to continue. All right. We're just going to continue, but I'll read that again. Lamentations 4:21. It says, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee." So we had to drink of that cup. Now you got to drink of that cup. It's your time. It says, "Thou shalt be drunken." So you're going to be drunken in it. It's going to be a lot of fury resting on Esau. "And shall make thyself naked. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion." Right. Us receiving this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding was a sign and a testament to that as well. as the Holy Spirit will be sent to the Israelites in the last days. Okay, and they will raise back up and be delivered in that third day. Okay, it says, O daughter of Zion, he will no more carry thee away into captivity. Right, it's never going to happen again. The pain, the sorrow we felt, all right, the punishment we had to endure is never going to be felt again, because we're going to be perfect once we get delivered. Not only is he going to deliver us, he's going to change our bodies. All right, we're going to receive that second covenant. Okay, it says, no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. You see? So Esau is being discovered. All right, he's about to be judged to the full extent. Okay. Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 4. It says, the Lord Yahweh hath made all things for himself. So everything has a purpose to please the Lord, basically. It says, yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil. So they're just reserved for the day of evil. That's all that is. That's why they're here now. If they be multiplied, it's for the sword. All right, let's grab that right quick. This is Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 20. Matter of fact, we can read this in the NLT. Let me see. NLT. Let's read this in the NLT. Isaiah 14:21. Speaking about Esau, Edom, okay? It says in the NLT, kill this man's children. Let them die because of their father's sin. I didn't do that. That was my dad. That was my great. It don't matter, man. And you're them coming back anyway. Okay? It says, kill this man's children. Let them die because of their father's sins. They must not rise and conquer the earth, filling the world with their cities. This is what the Lord Yahweh of heaven's army says. So this is the Lord. All right. I myself have risen against Babylon. I will destroy its children and its children's children, saith the Lord Yahweh. You see? Let's continue on. It says, verse 23, I will make Babylon a desolate place of owls, filled with swamps and marshes. I will sweep the land with the broom of destruction. I, the Lord Yahweh of heaven's armies, have spoken. Right, so it's going to come to pass. He don't lie. Okay? So the Lord is going to take down Babylon. All right? The Lord is going to destroy Babylon the Great. All right? And turn it into a desert at the end of that destruction, after the fire goes out after many generations, as the scriptures say. Because this place is going to be burning. All right, you go into the scriptures about the destruction, the specific fire, how it's going to hit this place. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be terrible, man. Okay, and this is all what's coming to the wicked. All right, as the Lord sees fit in his time. Because we want this to come to pass yesterday, if you want to be honest. But the Lord has these things set in his own time, which we don't know exactly the day or hour, but we know it will come to pass. Prophecy is sure. Okay. Let me grab another one. Psalms chapter 18 and verse 30. As for God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord Yahweh is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him. Right, so you can trust in these words. Okay, let me grab another one. Isaiah 55 and 11. It says, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. Right. So the Lord is going to accomplish whatever he said he's going to do. Whatever threats were laid out. All right. Hey, the Lord is going to make good on his word. It's going to come to pass. All right. This word is not going to be stopped. That's one thing for sure. Okay. This message all right, that has went out. All right, now it's just going to manifest more and more. And it has been. It literally has been. Okay, and that's why the elites of the earth are planning to retaliate. All right, as even written in Second Ezra 13 chapter, that they're going to fight the Messiah, even though they're not going to want to fight, but they're going to fight him. And this is all prophecy. Okay, let me see if I have any more pre's. Yeah, I got one more. Second Ezra 15:6. Matter of fact, we might start up. Let me see. We'll just start up then. Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. So this gospel, these words of prophecy, isn't it for everybody? It's not even for everybody. It's only for the people of the Lord, which is the Israelites. Okay. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. So this isn't even us. This is the Lord speaking through his men. That's how you know these things are true and that they're going to come to pass. And this is how the Lord always have spoken, all right, to diverse kings, kingdoms, people, all right, through somebody on earth as his mouthpiece. All right, he speaks more straightforward at times, okay, but he always sends his prophets, okay. Anyways, it says, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. You see? Where we're reading is faithful and true. It's going to come to pass. All right. It's an order to the prophecies. All right. That you got to understand. You're not just going to have Yahushua come back and nobody took to see him. All right. It's going to work in the Lord's timing, and whatever timing he has, then yeah, you just got to ride with that. And we see we're close. All right. Matter of fact, I probably will end off with that Luke. That's why I want to jump back to. But as we keep going, verse 2. It says, 2 Ezra 15:2, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. You're reading the truth of what's going to happen. Verse 3, fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Yeah. All right. F what they saying. We got the truth. We know what's going to happen. All right. It says, for all the unfaithful shall die in the unfaithfulness. Right. They're already the walking dead. They're in the congregation of the dead, and they're just going to perish that way. Verse 5. Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. You see? Now you can read on. Great book to read, the whole Second Ezra. All right, but 16 and 15 pretty fire too. Okay, but you can read on, but that's the point that I wanted to make. It says, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. That's in verse 6. So the Lord has a measure, all right, that it has to meet, and then he's going to bring the destruction. All right, that broom of destruction is going to come through. All right, which ultimately is going to be the destruction of this place. All right, those missiles and the fire from the chariots hitting this place. Okay, now going back to close it out, I do want to get that Luke. Where is I at? Salakia. Luke 21 and 25, and we're going to pick up at verse 27, okay? It says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. So certain things are going to transpire, then the Lord is going to come back, okay? It says, verse 28, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. You see? So we know that the Lord's coming is near, because we seeing these things come to pass that he said to look for before he would come. Now we still got, obviously, like I've been mentioning constantly in this lesson, the MOTB, okay, Jacob's trouble, okay, which we're at the head of that. We're at the beginning of that. All right. And when those things happen, we know the Lord is on his way. So we know we at the door. We know we there. Okay. And every day is just another day closer to the return of Yahushua HaMashiach. And that's what we praying on and banking on. Okay. So I just want to go into that right quick. Lord's will. This was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Forgive me the spirit and power to make this lesson. Until next time, Kamar Shalom.